you? What are your thoughts about the genre? Yeah. Think, don't just. If you have an idea about the genre, think about why. Live through a little bit. When you answer me, I'm going to ask you to elaborate. Yes, what's your name? Jasmine. Okay, what are you thinking? Think about your thoughts on what Jasmine is sharing.
No fiction.
Tell me what.
No fiction tension.
Like what?
Like,
A caption?
yeah, you got caption.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
Skylar.
Skylar, at first you said fiction when you picked it up, but then you just agreed with her nonfiction, so what changed your mind?
Changed my mind because I seen the photos and I seen the title of the text, and then I asked people of sidewalk, and I know that I like sidewalk, and I think the picture should be on my side of nonfiction.
Okay, Jasmine is our sidewalk expert. She knows more about sidewalks, so she can tell us nonfiction. Anything else that stood out to you about this that made you think that or agree with that or potentially not? Yeah, tell me your name. Marquise? Okay.
It's like they drawn stuff from the actual book.
Mm-hmm. So why does that make you think it's nonfiction? Can't hear you.
Never mind.
Why? Tell me. You're right. Just tell me.
In real life?
Yeah. Yes. These are the thoughts that you have. These are correct. Okay, so if we establish that it's nonfiction, what are the things that we think about when we read nonfiction in order to find the main idea? No, I forgot again. Oh, okay. That's what you were asking. Okay, I got you. Done.
What's the topic?
Uh-huh. So you want to figure out what the topic is. What else do we think about? Jabari?
How you know central idea?
Talk to me about that.
It's like the main idea, but central idea.
That's it.
Oh,
enough.
I
That's
just
what we
wanted
used
to.
to call it before we did main idea.
The whole thing?
No, the second
The point of view.
thing, the
Oh, okay. All right.
he has the right thinking. That's just the term we used to use before we wrote out the main idea.
Okay, cool. So this is a bit of a shift. The language might be a little bit different. It's probably the same thing that you're thinking. Once you find the topic, which is what it's going to be about, then we want to look for the key ideas about the topic. Yeah, right? So that sounds like a similar thing. I don't want to include every little detail that I learned. I want to include the key ideas about the topic that I found. And then what else do I need to identify in order to have my complete main idea at the end? Yes, what's your name?
Aya.
Kaya?
Aya.
Ayo. Gotcha. What's the last name?
The other point of view.
Yep. Okay, so we will identify these things as we read this text because that's what we always do when we read nonfiction. But I want to zoom in on the point of view part because I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it is difficult to nail and figure out what the point of view is in a nonfiction text. I feel like I spend a lot of time in this area, and then sometimes we only think about the point of view at the end. Does that resonate with any of you? Have you ever found it difficult to find the point of view?
Yes.
Why? You can take a second and think. Be real. Why?
Because I'm focused on the other two parts of it.
Okay, yeah, so maybe you haven't been thinking about it and you get to the end and you're like, all right, I need to pick a word for this. What else? Skylar, yeah, why? Why have you found it hard to find the point of view in the past?
Because sometimes I don't realize like what the text is about until like the end, like the topic and stuff. So it'd be hard to find it.
Okay, that sounds kind of similar to what Io said in that maybe you're like trying to figure out these first two parts, and so you haven't given this as much attention. Any other reasons why? Jeff?
Because when I'm reading, I don't think about everything. I just do basically what I listen.
Okay. Yes.
It's difficult because we need to find how the author feels about the text and the topic.
Yeah, right there, like there's a lot of things to do. And so this, it comes at the end. It's different from identifying all the facts. And so, like, it's a real thing that you might struggle with finding point of view. Like I said, very honestly, sometimes I have to go back and like start over because I haven't been paying attention to it. And so I'm going to teach you something that we'll practice it, we'll do it together today. It should make it easier for us to find the point of view today, and you should be able to do this next time to more easily find the point of view in other texts in the future. Okay? So we're going to practice or learn that we can identify the author's point of view in a text by noticing words, phrases, and details that reveal the author's opinion on the topic. What does this mean to you? What do you think we're going to do after hearing me read that?
I think we're about to find the expert of this text.
Find the what?
Expert of this text.
What do you mean by find the expert?
Like, we're gonna find out. No,
No. Go. Just tell me what you want. Tell me what you were gonna say. Use different words.
I did.
But I don't know what you mean. So can you break it down for me in a different way?
Like, basically, we're gonna, like, a main idea.
Okay.
Find out what the main idea
Yes,
is.
you are right. We will find the main idea. We're going to find all three parts. But we're going to zoom in on the point of view. And what are we going to do that's going to make it easier for us to find the point of view? Jabari, try.
Looking at words, the tell in the text, the tell what the author's talking about.
Yeah, so when we say words and phrases, that might be opinion words that just stand out to you very easily, right? That like, oh, this word tells me the author feels positively, or this word tells me the author feels negatively. But also we're going to look at details. And this is something that I haven't always looked at, but I tried it on this text and it really helped. Authors of nonfiction, they choose what kind of quotes to put in. They choose what kind of like statistics or percentages to put in. They choose all those details. So even though it might not be an opinion word that is like flashing to tell you this is point of view clue, we can also pay attention to the details as another way for us to identify the point of view. We're going to do this all throughout the text. We're not only going to do it at the end. And this should make the point of view clear to us and should be something you can do in the future too. Will you try with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the first thing that we know that we need to do in order to find the main idea is to identify a topic. So I want you to take like 30 independent seconds right now and see if you can get an idea for what you think the topic is. Preview the title, the subtitle here, look at the headings in the text, look at some of the pictures. Take some think time first and then we'll talk about it. Topic, what do you think this text is going to be all about? Don't read it, just do the preview. Alright, talk with a partner about what you think the topic is, and I'm going to come listen to you. Talk to each other, what do you think the topic is?
Artwork.
What makes you think that? Okay, cool. I want to make you to have using other people. So, subtitles. Artists use reading. How does that connect with what this Who is? Okay. Take a look at how the heading is, and see if you can add to that. Starting small, already made it more concise.
Are there any other actions or titles that might let you know if your topic is
I can go
You're
there.
saying that you are inspired.
I just put all the videos out there to give out somebody who created and drawing
Somebody, you know who he is. Okay, I'm gonna Isla first. I want you to listen to her and see if she might like this. Okay, come back to me. Good thoughts. We're gonna push each other here. So, Io, can you start? Tell me what you think the topic is and what specifically in the text made you think that.
I think this text is about how an artist named David Zinn likes to draw on the sidewalk in the state of Michigan. And what helped me find that out is like the heading,
Yeah.
like artist David Zinn creates 3D drawings using only chalk and charcoal. And then I looked on the pictures that was on the back, and I saw how he was drawing on the sidewalk and the streets. And then this picture in the corner, how he was drawing on the sidewalk and showing kids and adults.
What do we agree with that?
Yes.
Jabari, can you talk, because you started with something that sounded different than that, but then you came to agree with Io. So first you told me the topic was sidewalk art. Can you talk to me about how you like built that up to be more like Io's? That's all you agree.
When you look at what it is you see that helped you change your answer.
I saw art on the sidewalk, and gave them create 3D drawings on the sidewalks. So, and all these images is on the sidewalk with art in it, and look like 3D drawings.
Okay. Don't laugh, that's real. Sometimes we'll say, sometimes we oversimplify. Right? And so it's a skill to like add on all the different pieces of information that you get to make your topic more precise. Stay with me even if something is happening at the door. So we're gonna push this a little bit more. Did anybody use the headings of the different sections of the text to help you? Khalil, did you? Did you look at the headings in this text?
Oh yeah, I looked at the headings too.
And?
Oh yeah, I looked at this headings and the subtitles and the picture.
Okay, I want us to look at, and then tell me if you had thoughts on this. I'm gonna point this out. So there's this starting small, that's the heading of this section. It's not bolded, so we might have overlooked it. And then we have another section called From Sidewalks to Museums. What does that make you think? And how can we add that on to what we've already said about our topic? What's your name? One more time? Zara? Okay.
I think about like David said it's like his path to getting famous from like starting really small and then like when people start recognizing him.
Yeah, right? How he became more popular. Do you want to add on that?
I want to add, I think it's just basically like from sidewalks to museum, it makes me think like that he came a long way and that he came from like nobody really seeing his artwork and then they actually start seeing his talent and start liking his stuff and start capturing it in the museum.
Okay, can we just pause and appreciate? You gave me an answer, stay with me. Can we just pause and appreciate how precise we're making this topic just by making connections? So we haven't read this yet, but we're getting these ideas just from previewing. The other thing I want to point out that feels connected, we've noted, right, starting small from sidewalks to museums, that he's getting increasingly popular, right? I also see evidence of this in the picture too. Where do we see like evidence of his popularity and growing popularity in the text features on this text? Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So like that's important. He's not just making art by himself in a corner, you know, and being ignored, but we have also evidence that tells us that he's making this art on the sidewalk and it has become increasingly popular because we see all these people watching him and we have the headings that say he's gone from sidewalks to museums, which makes us think, like we said, that his art might have kind of blown up and now might be in different places. So how can we make this topic even better? than just saying how he makes drawings on the sidewalks? What else did we just learn from looking at those features that we could have?
What we had learned was basically we could say the topic is about a guy who was a guy who had randomly made sketches on sidewalks and increasingly became more popular throughout the years.
Do we have evidence to support that? Do we believe in that? He said it's an artist who draws things on the sidewalk and has become increasingly popular.
Yeah.
Evidence for that? Yes, we believe in this?
Yeah.
Okay. Put it in your own words. I'm going to jot it up here too. We always use the topic to help us when we, I know you can't really see. I'll say it one more time, but I also don't want you to copy, so I'm going to say it again. I want you to put it in your words. How David Zinn makes drawings on sidewalks around Michigan and has become popular. Just do it in jot form, take about 5 more seconds. Doesn't have to be a fancy sentence, just jot it down. If you're done jotting, I already want you to start thinking about this skill that we said we were going to practice today. Just in the preview, in the title, subtitle headings, do you notice any words, phrases, or details that give you a clue about the author's opinion so far? I'm going to ask again, do you notice any words, phrases, or details just from what we previewed that give you a clue about how the author feels about this topic? I forgot. Marquise.
It's showing pictures of a bunch of the artwork and people liking it. So maybe the author wants to tell the readers that the artwork is cool.
Okay, I love that, right? So something we can do to help us with a point of view as well is kind of a positive or negative test. So we're saying the pictures do give us the idea that maybe the author feels positively. Ayo?
I
Something
think
Go ahead.
it's the same thing, kind of. So I think that the author thinks that the artist is talented because he's putting his pictures inside there and showing how talented he is, and the hey, when it was saying from sidewalk to museum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love all that. I want to point out one sentence for us to think about, and then we're going to start reading, and we'll see where we go. Artist David Zinn creates 3D drawings using only chalk and charcoal. What does that make you think, and does it give you any ideas about how the author feels about David Zinn and his art? He creates 3D drawings using only chalk and charcoal. Jabari.
It makes me think he's gonna use chalk and charcoal to make drawings on sidewalks.
Okay, thank you. That's what the sentence says, but if it doesn't, fine. Do we think this gives us any clues about how the author feels about his work?
No.
Yeah.
A little bit.
If no, then okay. What do you think?
Just a little bit, like, he probably thinks that David,
Listen to see if you agree.
he probably thinks that David like a talented person or something like that, because he was even talking about the local.
Can you say that again louder? And can everybody listen to see? Wait, I see some people who have thoughts and want to make connections. I want to make sure because it's a good idea.
I think that it does connect because the author probably thinks that David is a very talented person for only using chalk and charcoal.
I think the author feeling David Zinn, like his artwork is different and unique.
Why?
Like his artwork.
Why?
Because when they say, they say David Zinn creates 3D
second. I'm so sorry, I forgot your name, but you just shared a great idea. Tell me your name one more time. Cesara. Why did this stand out to you as potentially being evidence that the author feels like David is talented?
Because some other people might use like paint or spray paint, but he used chalk, he used charcoal. Like that stuff is like hard to work with because it's like I can't explain it. Like,
Yeah, okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah, what connection are you also trying to make? Why? Okay. I also want to point out this word, right, only. What does that suggest?
He's only using that in nothing else.
Those are the only two things he's using.
Yeah, why is that impressive, or why would that show that he's talented?
Because other people use different stuff. Like what Javon said, paint and color pencils and spray pencils.
Yeah. You want to add, Doug? Yeah, he's only using these two simple materials, but he's able to make 3D art like we see in these pictures, and the pictures look pretty good. And so that can also be a clue. That word only, that he's only using these two simple materials, can be a clue to us about how the author feels about his work. Yes or no? Okay, maybe you don't believe it, maybe it goes away, maybe we build on it as we keep reading. Let's see how we feel. I'm going to just write point of view and a plus sign as a way to note to myself that I think this is a clue that I've found some information about a positive feeling that the author has. We'll continue looking for evidence of this in words, phrases, and details as we read. Okay, I'm going to read the introductory section. And as always, we're going to think, right, we know our topic. It's about how David Zinn makes this street art and it's becoming popular. We want to think about, are we getting any key ideas about this topic? And do we have any evidence of his point of view? Okay? All right, walk around the city of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you may spot a green monster named Sluggo and a flying pig named Philomena. You might even see street artist David Zinn drawing them using only sidewalk, chalk, and charcoal. The things I draw are the things that I wish existed in real life, says David, who loves wandering the streets, letting his imagination roam free until new creatures appear in his mind. Okay, take a second to think first. Do you think we've gotten any key ideas about our topic, which is how David Z makes drawings and has on the sidewalk and has become popular? Do you think we've learned any ideas about that topic? Talk at your tables for a very short amount of time, and then I'm going to flip back. What did you say no? Okay, let's come back. Mark, what kind of idea do you feel like you learned about the topic in this section?
One thing I think I have learned about the topic is how David Zinn would, instead of using a art canvas to draw his imaginations, he'll go out into the world and draw his imaginations anywhere.
Okay, yeah. So there's a connection there. I don't think I need to write that as a new idea. It connects though to our topic because it says he's making these drawings on the sidewalk, and so this emphasizes that he's, as you said, kind of using the world as his canvas, and he's not doing these paintings on paper. And then Io said she didn't see that many details in here to come up with a key idea, so that's fine. What about point of view? Right, because that's the thing we really want to zoom in. Do we have any clues in the form of words, phrases, or details in this intro that give us hints about the author's point of view? I'll start. Listen to I'll see if you agree or disagree, and then add on. I'll start.
The author said David Zen drawing them using only sidewalk chalk and charcoal. That's the same thing he said in that little heading right there, showing that he impressed by his work that he did.
Why do you think the author chose to pull that sentence out, put it right under the title, and then have it appear again in the introduction?
So that the reader could know that he really was drawing only chalk and charcoal.
Okay, so the reader can know that he was using only chalk and charcoal. What do we think, Jasmine?
To show how impressed he is.
Say that again louder.
To show how impressed he is.
Do you think that emphasizes that he's impressed, that he gave us a sentence right under the title and then again in the intro? Okay, so we're starting to develop the idea already that the author definitely feels positively about this art. Perhaps the author is impressed by David Zinn's art for the reason that we named, right? He's only using a little bit of stuff and he's making these really cool looking 3D pieces of art. Okay, you see how usually we wait till the end, but already we have thoughts about the point of view now. So if you keep your eye out for this stuff, it will make it easier for you to find the point of view because we already have something to go off of. Let's see if this is developed or built on, or if we get some new ideas to add to how we think the author feels about this. Okay, I'm going to read starting small. You can follow on up here or in your paper. Again, we're trying to find key ideas about our topic and any clues about the point of view that we can find. Starting small, at the age of 12, David began working as a freelance artist. His dad was writing a computer manual and worried that it would be boring to read. So he asked David to draw pictures of turtles, the name of the software, to illustrate it. The publisher liked his drawings, and soon David had the job of drawing more turtles in action. I learned a great lesson, which was that to earn money as an artist, I couldn't always draw what I wanted, he says. I had to figure out how to draw a turtle drinking tea and stuff like that. David worked for 20 years as a commercial artist, but he often felt cooped up sitting at a computer for 10 hours a day. Then, on a sunny afternoon about a decade ago, he grabbed some chalk and started doodling on the sidewalk. That's when Sluggo came to life. One of the reasons I like to put art on the street is to take people by surprise, he says. Suddenly, art happens to you and you just react to it. I found the blank canvas intimidating, but the sidewalk is flawed already. I can have fun drawing, and knowing it will be washed away helps me not obsess too much. It frees me up. It takes David about 2 hours to complete one drawing. He uses a variety of sidewalk features in his street art, such as drainage gates, fences, acorns, and bits of gum. It can be tricky, he says, to draw on surfaces that are not flat. He has to notice where shadows will land, so they won't spoil the 3D illusions he creates. Okay, let's pause because the next section starts after this. So I'm going to let you talk in a second because I want to hear many things. Please talk with your partners when I let you talk so I can hear what you're saying. Have we found any key ideas about our topic? And do you see any words, phrases, or details that give you a clue about how he feels about the topic?
Yeah.
Clear on what you're going to talk about? Okay, do it. Go ahead.
Also, it tells how like it tells us to put like in the streets.
Why was that? How was that?
So he started small by making turns and then
Yeah, did he start drawing on the side?
After a decade, he came back and started
So this is giving us kind of the background of how he got into the sidewalk art.
and how he feels about it too.
Okay, so let's break this apart. So it's telling us how he got into the sidewalk art. Would you say that's connected to our topic about how he draws art on the sidewalk? Okay, so I would do a little jot that says like he started as an artist, he didn't want to get right, so that's why he started doing sidewalk art. After you do that jot, see if there are any phrases or details that support our idea that we do that with office press. You talk about all this stuff nonsense. You tell me what you think.
I told them David decided to draw because he makes it a year.
What's the freer than one? Yeah, that's what the idea about the topic is. It's all about how the street artist is telling me how he
Did
started.
something for fathers, so
Jot that credit down.
Yeah, man, I know.
so then David had
So you can do it. I sort of write an ordinance where you write out some of the words down, but that's the ordinance. You have to write what you start with.
side and start writing what he read, when he wasn't writing what he wanted to write. So like he draw what he wants to draw. Rubble down what he's talking. Sketches on the sidewalk. It could only put one copy of it. He starts doing 3D sketches on outside. Because he was bored doing a job he was supposed to do.
Okay. Can you tell me what my time is like?
Yes, we have 150.
Oh, okay. I thought you said this. Okay. All right. Let's come back together. Khalil's going to start us off with a key idea that he believes he found. If you're still writing, I promise I'll give you more time in 2 seconds. But I want us to listen to Khalil to see if this is the same kind of key idea that you came up with, or if you have thoughts. Khalil, be loud, please. What key idea did you find about our topic in this section?
I found that David was tired. He was working on the computer all day, and then he said he was tired. He was tired of working on the computer. He was tired of working on the computer 10 hours a day. So then one day he just started drawing on the sidewalk, and it made him feel more free, and it was fun.
Yeah. Why is that? Yes. Why is that an important key idea about our topic? Yep.
Because I think it's good, I think it, relate. Oh yeah, it relates to because it's.
Not point of view yet, just why is that an important thing for us to know about our topic?
Because it's really that he has like patience.
Okay, that feels point of view-ish. I love that you're going there because we're going to go there in 1 second. I'm going to come back to you for my next question. Hold on to it. Why just, when we're thinking about key ideas, stuff we're learning about our topic, why is it important to know what we learn in this section?
Because it can help us to author's point of view.
Was he, if the topic of this text, okay, get with me because we're struggling with this, so if you listen to my question, you might get it. If the topic of this text is, all about David Zinn and how he makes street art, why is it important to know how he got started making street art? Yep.
Because if you don't know that's like
I can't hear you.
if he would have never started off as like a failure of drugs or drawing books, he wouldn't be what he is today.
Yeah, this section tells us how he got started as a street artist, right? First, he didn't always do this. What kind of art was he doing prior to doing street art? Sure.
Animated. He was like.
Okay, commercial art is what we said over here. That's from the text. He was like working at a computer and he felt like it was boring. So he turned to sidewalk art and that made him feel free. So that's the reason he's doing it. That's an important key idea about our topic. But now let's go to the meat of what we really want to talk about today. Are there any details in here that build on what we've already started to identify as our point of view? Or maybe give us new ideas? So far, we think the author is impressed by David Zinn and his artistry. Because it only takes him like 2 simple materials to make these beautiful pieces of art. Are there any words, phrases, or details in this section that maybe build on the idea that the author is impressed by David as an artist?
I think the when he said that it takes about 2 hours to complete one drawing, but at the same time he knows that it can get washed away. Like I think he's impressed by it because he's taking a lot of time out of his day to do one drawing just for it to get washed away later on.
Okay, I like that. Any other words, phrases, or details that suggest that the author is impressed by David Zinn and his artwork?
Yeah, first he was working for a commercial artist for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden he started doing art on the streets, and not the might have been impressed.
Why?
Because just being in a house for 10 hours a day is like stressful and hard, and then he just comes out outside and easily and just starts using his imagination to draw.
Ah, so maybe it's impressive that he's able to use his imagination and just like create these things out of nothing. I like that. What else? Yep.
And in the text, it also said he used variety of sidewalk pictures and street art, such as like damaged gates and fences and acorns and bits of gum.
Yeah, he's using drainage gates, fences, acorns, gum. I cannot make art out of gum. I don't know about you, but that supports the idea. Thank you for picking out this evidence that the author might be impressed by David Zinn and his abilities because he's able to use all of these things that he's just finding on the street to make beautiful art. Anything else? Listen to this and tell me how you feel. He has to notice where shadows will land so they won't spoil the 3D illusions he creates. Does that give you any thoughts connecting to point of view? Yeah, Mark?
Although what he's doing may seem like it's very hard to do, he still enjoys doing it, and he considers it as fun as what he used to be, as better than what he used to be doing.
Yeah, and I want to zoom in on the first part of what you said, is that like this sounds hard. It takes a lot of skill, right, to understand where the shadow is going to fall based on wherever the sun is to make sure that his 3D illusions aren't messed up. So here we have basically this entire paragraph at the end, giving us lots of details that support the idea that the author's point of view might be that he's impressed, right? What were the reasons, just so I can recap before we move on, what are the reasons that the text has given us that the author might be impressed by David's art?
He spends a lot of time on something that can go away, like
Mhm.
later on or the day.
I'm gonna jot them here. So, point of view, impressed because he like spends lots of time on it. Why else is the author impressed by his art? We found these examples. You just gave them to me. What was the first one? The first thing that we read, he was impressed by what? The first clue that we found for point of view. What was the author impressed by? Uh-huh.
He was impressed by him just drawing with chalk and charcoal.
Yeah, using minimal materials. And then Mark also highlighted, right, that was impressed because his work takes skill to incorporate all these features. He says it can be tricky to draw on surfaces that are not flat. He has to notice where the shadows fall. All of that stuff takes skill, and so those details are clues to us that the author is impressed by David's ability to do this. So far, I'm going to step back. How have we developed these ideas about the point of view? What did we do as readers to find this point of view so far? What have we been doing? What have we been doing? Okay, I have one, I have two. I have three. Thank you. Come alive. I know it's the afternoon. I know you already went to lunch. I know you're getting tired. Stay with me. Yeah, okay. What have we been doing? You want to tell me?
I do.
Yes, you do. Yeah, how? How have we found the author's point of view? What are we looking at that is telling us? Yeah. The words, the phrase, and the details that the author has included, that's how we're finding the point of view. It's not happening by accident, but you are paying attention to these things, and it's helping us find this. Okay, let's do the final section, and then I'm going to let you take a stab at your main idea. All right. From sidewalks to museums. Today, more and more people are recognizing and looking for his work, Zin art, throughout Ann Arbor. As many as 30 people may be watching David as he draws. It's half visual and half performance art now, he says, laughing. David's artwork can also be found across the country and even throughout the world. He flew to Taiwan to put his work permanently on the sidewalks outside several art museums. Photos of his drawings have been exhibited at the University of Michigan, Ferris State University, and 212 Arts Gallery in New York City. In addition, David gives workshops to kids and adults and has published 2 books of his street art, Lost and Unfounded and Temporary Preserves. Art is everywhere, from galleries to family room walls, from sidewalks to posters. At one point, my drawings wound up on stickers that were put inside garbage cans to show people how to recycle properly, David says. Art is useful and it's all around us, but it all starts with creating art that makes you happy. My advice to anyone wanting to be an artist is to draw what inspires you. Discovering that is a huge gift. In this section, from sidewalks to museums, I want us to take time to think about what key idea we learned about our topic, and then most importantly today, do we see any words, phrases, or details that tell us the author's point of view? Take a second to independently relook at that section, make some jots in your notebook about the key ideas and the point of view, and then we'll share before you go off to write your own.
I just remember.
For everybody, so give a key idea, or you can give ideas in the section, and then try to put find places where you get words. Do by yourself first. remember our topic is how he makes this art, and it's become really popular. So in the section from sidewalks to museums, write down what you've learned about that. I can't lose you. You don't have it? Okay, so let's figure it out. What's the topic? Davidson created art that we were talking about. Yep. Okay, this is called from sidewalks to museums. What part of the topic does that remind you of? What part of the topic
Oh, okay.
does this remind
I
you of?
don't read it. Oh, this.
Yeah, the heading is called from sidewalks to museums. We talked about this one. What does that mean to say?
I forgot.
If it's art is known from sidewalks to museums, what does that mean?
Oh, just came along with.
What part of the topic does that mean to you?
He created 3D awkward and came up.
The popularity of the system.
Yeah.
He is, right, he's something about the museums, so it's not something that you really talk about. Okay, so what have you learned about art?
I'm not reading this.
Write it out. Okay, so skim it, since it's not that long. What are we learning about this art? Right, is that POV comment? So did you get that done? Okay, so any now in the section, who's on 22?
He started from just. Being a commercial artist, he started doing
Can you pause? What idea are we working with right now? Before we start this section, what were some of the ideas? And you can start having this, but okay, so do we think that
Yeah.
if so, then find more details and say You okay?
Only look,
Okay, let's come back because we're running out of time. I'm losing you, and we can't lose this. What? Jabari, come with me, or get with me rather. Our topic, right, is how David Zinn makes street art, or sidewalk art rather, and he's becoming really popular. What have we learned about that in this section? What key idea did we learn about that in this section? Yes?
We learned that at first he was sort of drawing on sidewalks and now he was inside the museum.
Yeah, that really points to like the popular part of our topic that we named, right? What do we learn about his popularity in this section? Yes?
With his work, it started on art galleries and he made 2 books.
Yeah, do you want to build on that?
it say, David's artwork can also be found across the country and even throughout the world. He flew to Taiwan to put his work permanently on the sidewalks outside several art museums.
Yeah, so that is definitely a key idea because it's telling us something about our topic, which includes how popular his work has gotten, right? So as a key idea, just jot, I put popular, his work is on display all around the world. Now, I want us to zoom in on what we've really been focused on today, which is the point of view. So far, we have found clues that tell us that the author feels really impressed by David Zinn and his art. Remember this? Are there any words, phrases, or details in this section that support that point of view, that perhaps the author is impressed by David Zinn and his art? Look for some. Words, phrases, or details in this section that support the idea that the author's point of view is that he's impressed. Okay, I'm getting some ideas coming up. Are you looking? No, you're not. Looking. Look for them.
Let's look cool.
Yes, give me one.
It says that photos of his drawings has been exhibited at the University of Michigan Ferris State and 212 art galleries in New York City.
How does that show that the author is impressed by his art? Yeah.
Because his photos, 212. His photos have visited 212 art galleries in New York City.
Yeah, so we're like naming all the exclusive places that his art has showed up. So that's impressive because he's getting his art in these impressive spaces. Any other phrases or details or words in this section that point to the author feeling impressed? Yeah.
David gives workshops to kids and adults and has published 2 books of his street art.
Why does that detail make you think the author feels like this is impressive?
Because even though he's also in museums and art galleries and stuff, he's also making books off of it.
Yeah, he's doing a lot with this work. This has really blown up and become super popular. Any other words, phrases, or details that point to the point of view for you? You got more?
Oh, also when it says his drawings end up on stickers that is inside garbage cans to show people how to recycle.
Why is that impressive? Or why does that detail make you think the author's impressed by that?
Because instead, also when his work on show, instead of just being on show, it's also helping with the world.
So I'm jotting his art is everywhere, and even helps people. Okay, so in a second, you can jot that down if you're jotting, that's fine, just listen to me. I'm gonna give you some time to take your laptops out and like take a shot at, not yet, and take a shot at writing the main idea. But I wanna make sure that we understand the skill that we used today that helped us find the point of view, because you're gonna need to do it in the future, even when we're not talking about David Z. So, what did we think about in order to make it easier for us to find the point of view throughout the text? I'm gonna ask again. What did we think about to help us find the point of view in this text? Yes?
Reading the little details that the author quoted of what he said.
Yeah, so we found details that reveal the author's opinion. What other things did we look for that helped us identify the point of view? Mark?
The words or phrases the authors put.
Yes. So how can you use this? Let's say tomorrow you read a text about, I don't know, dogs.
I said aliens.
Okay, if you read a text about aliens tomorrow, how can you find the point of view more easily? What can you think about or notice? Yeah.
The author's point of view,
Yeah, how can you find it? What can you do in your brain to make it easier for you to find that point of view?
like look at details inside of the text.
Yeah, if you find details that give you clues about the author's opinion, or words or phrases that give you clues about the author's opinion, you should be noticing those. We put little plus signs, we wrote POV next to words that made us think that they were clues about an opinion. And so, no longer should we only be thinking about point of view at the end. We need to keep our mind and our eye attuned to noticing these things throughout the whole text. Will you do that next time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm gonna let you take out your computers and write the main idea. We talked about the topic, we wrote all these key ideas down, and we know the point of view. It's your job to just put it in your own words